On. Okay. Hey everybody. It's Kurt Orzik from The Bad Penny. That's my website. I'm a music journalist of many years, a rock critic, and I have the distinct pleasure of speaking today with Evan from Porch, Coffin. And we have a bit of a different kind of topic to discuss today. Most of my videos that you've probably seen on my channel have been about the decline of democracy in America, or about people and their pets. And so this is not really somewhere in the middle, but it's just kind of like on a different plane, I suppose, on a plane, if you will, a little proceeding. We're going to be talking about my favorite band of all time, and maybe your favorite band of all time too, Evan.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're gonna be talking about
Yeah.
Nirvana, and uh our maybe we can do like a oh we'll see how it goes, but we can do like a favorite songs, and we can go back and forth and all that, and I'm sure we'll get really nerdy about it. And if you're not a Nirvana fan, you'll probably tune out. But if you are a Nirvana fan, maybe there'll be some little chunklets of greatness that'll happen. So,
Yeah.
um, so you guys are in Orlando, Florida, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of sort of like we're kind of all spread out throughout the country at this point. But the band started more or less in Orlando, Florida. Um I still live in Orlando, Florida, and our drummer's in Colorado and our bass player's in Virginia, and then our other guitar player's in Tampa,
Okay.
Florida. Yeah,
Right.
so we're kind of all over the place at this point.
Yeah. And and you just put out your first EP almost a month and a day ago, November 14th.
Yep, just about a month and a day ago. This is our third EP actually, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No worries. But yeah, we just put that out. We're really excited about that. Took us forever. A lot of like member changes and just a lot of stuff went down in the process between like the second and the third one. So we're definitely happy to have it out there now and get to move forward from here.
Yeah. Did those changes result in a also like a different direction in terms of sound and aesthetic, or
Yeah, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah, major shift, honestly, in terms of sound and aesthetics. Yeah.
yeah. And so you know, uh if there's one thing I know about musicians, they don't like to classify themselves, or at least it used to be that way before Spotify. Now I find a lot of younger musicians are more than happy to say like, we're a shoegaze band, or we're like tech death, band, or whatever. So,
Yeah.
how would you describe like the kind of sound you're pursuing right now, if you were to do so?
I think this band is really inspired by like 90s industrial rock,
Uh-huh.
and 90s grunge rock. Um,
Sweet.
so we're somewhere in that vein, but we're kind of like an old mindset where we kind of aren't good at like genreizing ourselves, and we're pretty bad about it.
Yeah.
I think that like the Spotify era and everything has made it just to where you almost kind of have to in order to really like nail down like a thing, you know. But we're all a little bit older, so it's kind of hard. Like most time, we're just kind of like we're in a rock band, but that's just so vague at this point. So yeah, I mean, we're really like inspired right now by like the Nine Inch Nails, and we're forever inspired by Nirvana. And then who were we just talking about today? It was like Nine Inch Nails and
Blind
um
Melon, Counter Crows, Goo
oh
Goo
we're
Dolls.
Pumpkins. We're really into Deftones. Those kind of bands right now. Just kind of heavier, darker, moodier. Yeah, those kind of things.
Dude, I turned in my like best. I write for a lot of different publications, and they're all like asking me to turn in my best albums of the year lists, like way too early. It's getting earlier every year, and I'm just like every day I think about like how I really wish I included the new Deftones album on there. It's so freaking good. Uh,
I honestly have not listened to it yet.
oh, you haven't? Oh,
No. Do I need to get to it?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it's one of those like bands where I'm like, they already kind of did their thing and so I just a lot of times these bands just don't produce the same caliber of music, but I mean, I've heard a lot about this record, so
Oh man, I mean. I like to, I'm not like I've only seen them once or twice, so I'm not like a huge Deftones head, but like, obviously White Pony's uh
yeah.
their best known one, but they did put out another one somewhere in between White Pony and this one that I did like quite a bit as well, but this one is just phenomenal. It's just just prepare yourself, make sure you're not listening to it on like a subway or train or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't have those in Florida,
Yeah,
so
you don't have those in Florida, right?
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so screw it. Well, let's just dive right in. Like, what's your first memory of hearing Nirvana?
Oh man. So my dad and my brother both play as well. So I think my first memory of like knowing what Nirvana was them learning the Unplugged set list, like in the living room.
Wow.
So that they went and there was a local guitar shop in Daytona called Total Entertainment, and they would sell those like tablature books for guitar players. And so they had like the tablature book of the Unplugged sessions.
Uh-huh.
And and yeah, they would just sit around. They would learn the whole set and then play the whole set and sing it and play it. And then my brother and I shared a bedroom. So my brother like always would listen to music when we went to bed. So I just remember one night being like, "What is this, dude?" And there was two times this happened. One time it was Led Zeppelin when I was like, "What is this? This is sick." And then the other time was In Utero.
Mhm.
So, and then he actually gave me In Utero, and that was my first CD I ever had. That was like my own.
Wow.
So,
Um, all right, so next logical question. Are you bigger fan of Utero or Nevermind?
oh, dude, I don't know. Honestly, it's like changed so many times in my life. Like I've gone back and forth so many times. I feel like Kurt is just such a crazy person that some people will think that like In Utero is more honest, but I feel like
Hmm.
Nevermind was him being honest at that point in time in his life. And like he really wanted like that polished sound. He really wanted it to be that way. And even if he doesn't, this is just my perception. He doesn't seem to like put off that vibe, but I think he was like leaning into it heavily at the time.
Yeah.
Um, there's just things I love about both of them. I think In You or Nevermind has some of the best songwriting of all time, some of the best like rock production of all time. Um, and then In Utero is just so pure and disgusting. And it's just such a great record too. I don't know. They're both so good. Honestly, Bleach has become one of my favorite of the three too.
Really?
So they're all just so good. He's just such a great writer.
Yeah. Are you familiar? Do you know the backstory behind why there's another individual on the cover of Bleach and how that album was funded? Are you?
Yeah, I know that like he was like their other guitar player for a while. And
Yeah.
then didn't he sleep with someone's girlfriend or something like that?
Oh, maybe. His name is Jason Everman,
Hmm.
and he played I think just one show with the band, but they hired him because he was from Money, and he ponied up the money to record Bleach, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
consequently booted him out, but they kept him on the album cover, so he's actually not on the record, but but it's just
That's crazy.
a story. All right.
A crazy thing to do.
Yeah. So what struck you the most? You said I'm sorry. You said which song was it that you heard first? Your dad and your brother were playing Unplugged, which is really cool. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
What was this? What was the song? The song that really resonated with you the most? The one that you would find yourself humming or singing along to, or all that.
Um, no, I would have been so young. I just was kind of listening to them do their thing. I think the first song really, that got me was "Smells Like Teen Spirit," of course, as like a teenager.
Yeah.
That was obviously the first one that really made me be like, oh, I'm obsessed with this band.
Yeah.
But yeah, that song, I really love Territorial Pissings. That song I've just been trying to
Oh,
replicate my whole life, and hopefully we'll never get there.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I love that song. I've loved that song, and but I would say "Smells Like Teen Spirit." I think that's everybody's like introduction to the band, as it should be probably.
Sure. Sure. And were you watching MTV at the time too, or
Yeah,
did
but I had to have been like, I mean, he died when I was 3 years old. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
I had to, I don't think I was watching it at that age, but I mean, they still talked about Nirvana a lot when I was a teenager, and they still played their music videos a lot, and would have like the kind of rock docs about them and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, as you learn their catalog, what songs what song spoke to you the most, or have you found as you've gotten older, which song speaks to you the most, I guess?
Um, one that I always go back to is On a Plane, and I don't
Hmm.
really know exactly what it is about the song.
Yeah.
Um, I love that like the band just kind of kicks in, the vocals kick in, everything just kind of kicks in on that one. I don't know, dude, they're so good. I could do this about like so many of their songs. Drain You is like
Yeah.
just such a great song. Um,
That's my favorite one of all time.
Drain You is, dude, what a song. And then that performance, where his guitar breaks. I forget where they're at, but I used to watch that video like over and over and over and over again on YouTube. Just such a great video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I would probably just right now off the top of my head say probably On a Plane.
Well, yeah. Good choice. Good choice. Yeah. Um, Now, are you a Nirvana completist? Do you have like all their B-sides and outtakes and all that kind of stuff, or do you just mostly focus on their studio records?
No, I get deep into like the other stuff too, but there's just so much once you start going down that catalog.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of stuff in between Nevermind and In Utero, like Oh the Guilt is a really awesome song.
Hmm.
Um and there was another one I'm trying to think of.
Aneurysm, maybe, or
Oh yeah, Aneurysm. Yeah, that's from what's the
insecticide.
sliver insecticide. Yeah, yeah. But no, there was one other one that I just was like, man, I can't believe this didn't make the record. And I can't, maybe it is Oh the Guilt. It might be Oh the Guilt.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I go down all that, and then I go down even just like some of his, oh, and like even in his youth.
Yeah.
I go down some of his just like really bad demos too, and I kind of get hooked on those for a little while as well.
Yeah.
Um, so no, I'm definitely like a dork when it comes to Nirvana for sure.
Have you heard Opinion?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's one of his, when you say like, kind of crummy songs, it's just
Yeah.
he gives up like a minute and a half through the song, but
Yeah, that's
but
awesome.
some of those demos like really laid the groundwork for other songs that he then later made. D7 was another one too.
D7, yeah, dude,
That's
that one rules.
that's a
Yeah.
that's a really
See, in all those ones, I was kind of like, man, they could have just made the record a little longer and put these on the record, you know what I mean? But it's kind of cooler to kind of find them in this way. Like Sappy, um,
yeah, yeah.
there's just so many good ones.
I haven't heard about that one for a while. What did you think about well, a couple of different questions there. Did you uh did you get the box set with You Know It's Right? You know you're right.
I never had the box set. I think at the time it was like $100 or something.
Yeah.
I was
Impressive.
like probably 12 or something when it came out.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I've gone down like the box set album like on Spotify a million times and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I always wanted, but I never had the journal that he put out. But my friend Porky had it, and so I used to
Mhm.
go over to his house and just sit and read it and hang out and shit. Um, but yeah, no, I never had the box set, unfortunately. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you said there's certain songs that could have appeared on one of their records, like You Know You're Right is like that's like single quality, like
Oh yeah. Well, I think that one did chart though, didn't it?
probably
Yeah,
yeah when
I
it came
think
out.
it did, but I think they put it out on like a greatest hits record or
Oh,
something
that's
like
what it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Um, um, so when you, I'm curious, like when you went through the journals, uh, is there something that you know kind of got emblazed in your mind that that really struck you and that you think about sometimes, like in terms of what he had in there? I mean, there's an awful lot, and some of it's nonsense, but like um, some of it is also very uh, striking, disturbing, insightful. You know,
Yeah, I think Kurt's like all of those things, really, honestly. Like I feel like there's a lot of times where I dive into him and I'm just like I feel really just bad for him because I feel like he just was very like misunderstood himself. He's misunderstood by other people as well. But then there's other times where like he's like and even like his like throwaway writings, he's just so like deeply honest in what he's saying, even though it seems like nonsense. It's just like literal, like free form writing just from his brain to paper.
right?
And I feel like that's such a hard thing as like a writer or an artist to accomplish, whether it's like with words or like painting or anything. It's so hard to not get in your own way when you're trying to just let things come through.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think he just had such a strong ability to do that. And whether that was like, because I've heard so many friends have the argument about that he wasn't like good, you know, technically or whatever.
Hmm.
But I think that's where his like strongest ability lied was just in like being able to get out of his own way when he was writing.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think that kind of comes through a lot in his journals. Sometimes it like doesn't too, or you can see like when you're reading his journal, you can see where it breaks and then he gets frustrated and then it's like just like he scribbles it and he never goes back to that page
Mhm.
and like whatever. But I don't know, I always thought that was really cool and it kind of opens up a world for somebody that's like 12 or 13 thinking about writing songs and stuff is like this dude's like one of the biggest songwriters of all time, and like he doesn't have shit figured out either. He's just fucking putting it to paper and like just letting whatever happens happen. And I think that's pretty empowering in its own way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way before. But yeah, he would do the stream of consciousness, and then also he had a real knack for wordplay too. So again, going back to that song, like you're right. Like as the song progresses, I think he starts saying like your rights, and
Yeah, yeah.
sort of plays around with that a little bit, and he does that in other songs too, which is kind of cool. Not to put you on the spot, but I think we had talked about like uh making a list of your top 10 Nirvana songs. I don't know if you have that. You've kind of already rattled off, I think, most of your favorites already. But was there any other ones that you
Oh
that
man, I love and I didn't mention yet, but I love radio friendly unit shifter.
yeah.
Dude, that song and that like when people ever ask the question like where would you go if you had a time machine, I always say the Live and Loud with like Pat Smear. Um and they I'm pretty sure they open with Radio Friendly and dude the song just kicks ass. It's just the whole way through is just kicking ass.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
So I would definitely put that on there. Dude, honestly though, it's like so hard to pick. I think Penny Royalty is like one of their best just all around songs.
Yeah.
You know, it's like such a Beatles song, but with just like grimy tones and huge drums, and his words are so like super poetic when you actually like sit and read them. It's
Mhm.
that song is brilliant.
Yeah.
What's that too? Territorial Pissings is in there for me.
Right.
Um, I just love like that song is always a song when people argue with me about whether they're a punk band or not, which I think that argument's like laid to rest at this point. But like
Yeah.
I've had people be like they're not a punk band, and then I show them that song and I'm like, dude, if you don't think this is like a punk song, like I don't think you know what punk rock is. Um, and then for me, I gotta put "Smells Like Teen Spirit" in the top 10 because I just think it's just changed everything
Mhm.
about the way people write music. I think
Yeah.
it just like really shifted an entire culture of people. We just read a Rolling Stones article the other day that we were at the shop. I'm a barber, and at the shop we were trying to figure out what the worst band of all time is, and but it had to be a band that like had hits. You know, it can't just be some Joe Schmo like bad band. You know, it had to be like a big band. And so we were like, let's see like if we can find the articles about like the top 10 worst bands. And Nirvana somehow made the in the top 10 worst band of the 90s in a Rolling Stone article,
Bullshit. Who wrote
which
that?
was
What?
it was a fan voted on thing. So even the editor wrote like a little comment and was like, this is bullshit, basically. Like, but they were number five for the worst band of the 90s. But it made me think like I don't even think the 90s like happens with the way that it did without Nirvana. Like the style, the everything that happened, I don't think it happens in the same way if you don't have that band in the 90s. So
I
it
cannot
just
make sense of that at all.
no, it's ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous. Hootie and the Blowfish was higher on the like not as worse off on the list as Nirvana, which is insane.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin to discuss that really even. That's just crazy.
Do you
Um
have a worst band of all time, just off the top of your head?
top of my head,
It's harder than you think.
it is harder than I think. You know, I mean, I just wrote I just wrote a piece today and I was talking about how like um you have to have like the worst things happen in order for the best things to happen. So I think I named like Styx, Kansas, and America, you know, and if it weren't for them, then there wouldn't have been punk or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But you know, I do kind of agree with the dude that the Eagles are fucking
uh,
man, you
I
know.
love the Eagles, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Eagles. I disagree with the dude.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
that did get brought up a lot by clients in the shop.
Yeah.
Didn't like the Eagles, yeah. So that's
Yeah. I
fair.
mean,
Fair point.
it's and then but then you get into like the 90s. I mean, it's a an embarrassment of I wouldn't even say riches, but like you got your Stained, Evanescence, you got you know, just all that bottom of the barrel stuff that I can't really
That's how the
stand.
conversation got started, is we were arguing about whether Stained or Breaking Benjamin was better. And I said Breaking Benjamin, and one of our barbers said Stained. And yeah, so anyways, sorry,
Um,
not to get us off topic, but
oh, of course. No, no, no. What do you feel about Nirvana songs in movies and TV shows?
what do you mean, what do I feel about it?
Well, I mean like maybe you know you're a bit younger than me, but like you know that was like kind of sacred music and like
Hmm.
for a long time the Kurt Cobain estate, and this is when Courtney Love and Dave Grohl were really at loggerheads,
Hmm.
basically because they weren't as greedy for money as they've become.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but they really would refuse to let anybody use any Nirvana songs for like commercials or movies or anything like that. And I'm trying to think of what the first one was. I don't think it was the Richard Linklater movie because that wasn't actually a Kurt Cobain biopic. It was just sort of like sort of a transgressive artistic imagining of what his last days might have been. I think it was called Last Days.
Is that the one where there's no dialogue? It's just like
Yeah.
him kind of walking around. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Pitt.
But
Um,
did they actually use Nirvana songs in that?
no, 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 that's what I'm
No.
saying. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they did, but I guess I bring it up because uh I really don't. It still doesn't sit well with me that they used something in the way in Batman.
Hmm.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I feel like it introduced the band to a different culture, and
Hmm.
I feel like the young culture of kids at that point were so lost in like what they even liked musically.
Oh.
And now I'm starting to see like young kids making like garage bands and like doing actual like being a part of a scene, and whether it's the punk scene or the hardcore scene or the indie scene, they all seem like they're starting to like drift back into making like real music. And I don't know that that has everything to do with it, but I know that that version of that song went like hyper viral. And
Mhm. Hmm.
I think that Nirvana's name, because it is like their song, was attached heavily to that viral moment, which I think is great for kids that maybe didn't get exposed to them the same way that like we got exposed to them. Even like I didn't grow up technically when he was even still alive, but I was just like right on the precipice of that, and they were still such a like impactful band at that time that everybody still knew them. Everyone I went to school with still was into them. It was basically like the first band, them and like Green Day were like the first bands we all got into.
Yeah.
But like kids that are like my niece's age, they didn't start getting into that until moments like that Batman movie, or like a Deftones song went viral on TikTok, or like whatever, kind of thing happened.
Hmm.
I also think that the rendition of it was kind of beautiful. So
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'm okay with it, but I think it all just depends.
Yeah.
It's like depends on how much care behind whatever it is that they're making, and how much it matters that it's a Nirvana song,
Sure.
instead of just putting it there because they know people like it, Nirvana or whatever.
Yeah. I think the one that bothered me more was when did you ever watch the TV show Succession?
No.
Yeah, it was like kind of about it's sort of loosely based on like the power dynamics behind like the titans of media and like specifically Fox News and Rupert Murdoch.
Mhm.
And there's like this corporate shareholder meeting and someone like pranks them by playing Nirvana's Rape Me, like you're raping your competitor by asking for too much money. And I was like, this is just not right. It's so
Yeah.
far removed, but
I mean, even like the way you describe that feels like just the wrong way to use the music. And I don't think it does anything to push the culture forward. So it's
no,
like,
yeah,
it's just feels pointless. Like no young kids are watching Succession and gonna get something new from it. You know what I mean?
true, true. Okay, so we got a few more minutes here. I want to close by asking like what aspects of Nirvana's spirit, personality, aesthetic have you brought into your band, would you say? Like what um not to say that you're mimicking them in any way, but like, what sort of a spirit have you tapped into that you really admired about them? That you feel like comes forth in your
Yeah.
EP and yeah.
I think that like we really like myself, I can speak for myself and our drummer, like we have been at least just obsessed for so long that I think it just bled it so deep into us that there are just things that maybe we don't even notice about it. But one of the big things I do notice is like our play with dynamics. Um, Nirvana had a really good sense of dynamic play between like smaller parts and bigger parts and things like that, and how they would arrange that.
Yeah.
um I think that's like a major thing. We love loud guitars and loud drums.
Yeah.
I think like my sense of like kind of pop sensibilities, but not in like a Sabrina Carpenter way, but just like kind of almost in that like Beatles kind of pop way, I think all comes from Kurt.
Hmm.
Um, so I think there, and then I just think there's probably things that like I don't even know that just have bled
Yeah.
in just from years of being inspired by the guy and the guys really like the whole band.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, do you given what you said about when you were born and I think you said you were 3 years old when he died or something like that. Do you can you identify a band that has changed the game um, in such a way that I can't say that like that Nirvana did because you weren't around when they were coming into their huge popularity, but is there some sort of an equivalent, and just not in terms of style, but just in terms of like game changing, you know?
Yeah, it's so hard with like the way music works now. It's just so different. You know, it's like everything is so niche now, and you don't have to be, everything's so curated, rather, I should say. 'Cause you don't have to be exposed to things you don't want to hear, which is like good and bad. It's like there's not really room for these like major movements like what happened with him, where like a major part of the population is so sick of hair metal, and then they hear this, and it's like, oh my God, I've never heard this before. It's like everyone nowadays is so curated to hear the music that they already know. Like the algorithm already knows what they want to hear. So the things it spits at them are similar enough to where it's not really like changing up the whole thing.
Hmm.
For me, I would say like around like the maybe like Taking Back Sunday,
Hmm.
like Fall Out Boy kind of era. Like I feel like those bands had a major impact on like my generation and the way that we would go about continuing on and writing songs.
Hmm.
And I think even those bands had a big impact later on in like hip hop music and all the like Lil Peep and all these dudes. Like when you bring all that stuff back to basics, it comes from like that emo movement, which was heavily pushed forward by bands like Taking Back Sunday and Fall Out Boy. So
Yeah.
I think they had a major impact, but I just wouldn't say like it like moved the needle in the same way because I just think Nirvana was just came from like such a different time period where radio was still like so important, music videos were still so important.
Right.
And you know, from the 2000s on, that's kind of slowly started to shift with like, you know, the fucking like stealing music and then moving on to the streaming world. So it's
Yeah.
just been a different kind of thing the whole time.
Yeah. But I think people forget that like a lot of his anger was rooted in the constraints and expectations and limitations that the industry is putting on him. Like, you know, to
Hmm.
deliver the singles, to do the videos, to tour, and to do the press, you know, and that stuff just kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit now. Do you feel like fortunate to be a musician in this day and age, like because you have all, you know, you have a lot more freedoms in terms of how you can get your music out, what you can do with it in your own domain, or do you feel like it's kind of like the Wild West?
Yeah, I think both really. I think it's like it's easy to romanticize a time where like the cream just rose to the top and that's just the way it was, you know, because but honestly I still think that's how it is. I think that like it is the Wild West out there now and like it's so oversaturated and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, like great music just speaks for itself and you know, if you're not there, it's probably has a lot to do with the music. But I mean it's hard now. Now it's like, you know, you have to have like an online presence and you have to do this and then you have to do all that and still tour and you got to wear so many different hats now where I think back then you could just be in a band and that could just be what you did and then all the other stuff kind of came from the labels, but then the labels had a lot more control over you because now they've kind of built that for you. So I don't know, it's like it's good and bad, I think.
Yeah, yeah, pros and cons. So just as in closing here, you just mentioned tours. Do you have any dates plotted out yet for next year or
We don't have a whole lot going on. We're gonna play January 3rd in Orlando with a band called Bad Luck.
no?
Great band, great friends. A band called Northbound as well,
Okay.
and Camp Trash. And then we don't really know what the future holds after that. We'll just have to see. We're gonna try to maybe plan like some kind of small tour, maybe around like the springtime or something, maybe summertime.
Cool.
Um, but it gets harder as we get older and people are living all over the place. So
Yeah.
we're just doing what we can with what we got, and we'll just see what happens, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I love the EP.
Thank
And
you.
I encourage people to get it. Dog's Bite. And it's on your Bandcamp, I'm sure, Porch Coffin.
Yep.
And thanks for your time. Yeah, I look forward. If you're ever in Boise, got a place to crash.
Oh,
And
awesome. Thanks so much, man.
yeah, and it's a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for making the time tonight, man. It's
Dude, of course.
been
Great to
fun.
meet you, Kurt.
Yeah. Okay, you too, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks.
I don't even know how to log out of this thing.